in our area. Look at this map. According to CDC, the Northeast has the highest positivity rate for norovirus right now.
The spread is so wide-ranging in some parts of the area that it's putting some people's daily lives on hold. Earlier this month, you remember this, right? Irving Primary School in Highland Park, New Jersey. Well, they closed because of a gastrointestinal illness outbreak at their school. So the school underwent deep cleaning, of course, before reopening for class.
And I think we're going to find out that's what's important with this. When you see that 15% jump, that's a big number. He's a friend of the show, joining us now to give you everything you need to know about this outbreak. Chief Medical Officer at WebMD, Dr. John White. Dr. White, we're so excited. Good morning. We're so excited to have this conversation. I mean, let's just dive into it. What do you want to start with?
Yeah, I just want to start off with let's break down norovirus for the folks who may not understand.
And as you can see by that graph, it is a very contagious virus, and it's basically a gastrointestinal, a GI virus. So it's not a respiratory virus like people have cold or flu. It's really, as we were talking about, spread through contact with contaminated feces, contact with vomit. That's the issue.
So it's unhealthy kind of cleanliness. Like we need to be super clean about washing our hands, super concerned about areas that we touch, because this isn't something I'm going to breathe on you with, right?
That's right. I mean, there are some instances of respiratory, but it's predominantly, it's the GI tract, right? So it's something you've put in your mouth. And as you point out, Sam, everyone doesn't practice good hygiene. Let's just be realistic.
My little ones, they've had it too many times, and that says a lot.
And it's hand
about their
washing
hygiene
with soap and Now my son is the opposite. He's a little too much, but right now he hasn't had a stomach flu, so that's good.
Well, tell us about the
soap
symptoms.
and water too. It's not just, the sanitizers.
Yeah.
So the symptoms typically are things like you feel crampy abdominal pain. You have some nausea. That then typically progresses to vomiting, and then you have usually watery diarrhea. If it's bloody, that's a big red flag. Sometimes you have a fever, usually low grade around 100, and sometimes you might get a headache too. But it's usually those abdominal symptoms. Sometimes you think, maybe this is food poisoning, maybe this is something else.
And this is very, sorry.
No, go.
It's just so concerning because I had it last year. It was the absolute worst, and you're seeing all these states in the Northeast. Like, why is it popping up like this?
Because it is so contagious, right? So with kids, they don't always practice the best hygiene. We talked about how it is in our stool. A lot of times in families, people share the same bathroom. So it's a good idea to maybe when someone's sick, stick to one bathroom. And people go to work sick, right? Because you think, I only have some diarrhea, I can go to work. It's all public bathrooms that you're using. So it's another reminder, don't go to work if you're not feeling well.
So what can you do ahead of time? Instead of just wiping stuff down in your own home, but what can we do to prevent this?
When we're out and about, I love that.
When you go into the public place, you need to use a restroom. And some people don't have two bathrooms at home.
That's right.
Things of
That's
that nature.
exactly
And you're
right.
out. What do you do?
So it is very much about your own hand washing. You can't control what other people do. So you want to wash with soap and water, 20, 30 seconds when you're in the bathroom. You want to wash that food because that's a source of contamination. Typically green leafy vegetables, fruit, shellfish is a source of the virus too. And then you want to encourage people to stay home when they're sick. Keep your kids. I know it can be tough on parents, but if they're not feeling well, they're having diarrhea, they need to stay home, and you need to stay home and be extra cautious at that time.
Well, it's a conversation we needed to have, and thank you so much, because when you're up 15% with something, you've got to get to the nexus of it and try to help. So, Dr. White, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. White.
Appreciate the talk.